What's up, Master Duel fans? James here again. Another odd number challenge for you guys, and this shouldn't need any explanation, but we'll just jump right on in for this duel. So basically, the way how this particular deck works based off from this hand, you are looking at a series of Wind Wing Beasts, 5 main deck monsters that are level 1, the Fusion is also a level 1, while the Xyz are rank 1s, all of which are once again Wind Wing Beasts, so they may have some very good synergies like no tomorrow. So first things first, on behalf of the Lyrilusc in-depth guide, according to this event, we're going to start backwards and then we will work our way up. Lyrilusc, Bird Call, normal spell, hard ones on the activation. Take one Lyrilusc monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. Then you can special one Lyrilusc with a different name from your hand. This is literally Amazon's Call, but for Lyrilusc. Lyrilusc, Bird Strike. Hard once per turn on the activation. If you happen to control a Lyrilusc monster, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn. This is literally Lyrilusc, Dark Ruler no more, but they can still respond to it, which is iffy. Lyrilusc, Bird Sanctuary. Continuous spell. You can target 2 Wing Beast Xyz you control, plus 1 material between one of the two. Well, more like plus materials. If you control an Xyz within 3 or more materials, you can draw 1. Each effect once per turn. Lyrilusc, Phantom Feathers. Each effect once per turn. Target 1 Lyrilusc monster you control. The attack of all monsters your opponent currently controls become that monster's current attack. Also, their levels/ranks become 1. When an opponent's monster declares an attack on your Lyrilusc monster, you can banish this. Your monster's attack becomes that opponent's monster's attack until the end of this turn. Onwards to the monsters. And once again, just to share the exact same category of Lyriluscs, all are Wind Wing Beasts, 5 main deck monsters, 1 Fusion, 4 Xyz. Lyrilusc, Cobalt Sparrow. No attack, 100 defense. Upon being special summoned, you can add 1 level 1 Wing Beast from your deck to your hand. Hard once per turn on the search effect. Lyrilusc, Sapphire Swallow. 100 attack, no defense. If you control a Wing Beast monster, you can special both this card itself and 1 level 1 Wing Beast monster from your hand. Hard once on Sapphire Swallow. Barrel Canary here. No attack, 200 defense. If this card is in your hand, you can target 1 Lyrilusc monster in your graveyard, special both this card itself and that monster off from the graveyard, and to turn into this, you can't special from the extra deck except Xyz. Hard once on Barrel Canary. And when it comes to Barrel, Sapphire, and Cobalt specifically being used for the sake of Wind Xyz monster, these Lyriluscs gain the supernatural effects. Cobalt Sparrow makes it anti-target from opponent's card effects, while Sapphire Swallow here states that upon XZ Shoken, you can target one Lyrilusc monster in your graveyard, plus one material, while Barrel Canary being used as a material, extra 200 attack, and the possession of the summoned XZ Lyrilusc cannot be switched. Lyrilusc Turquoise Warbler, 100 both ways. If you control no monsters at all, you can free special this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned from the hand specifically, you can special one Lyrilusc monster from your hand or graveyard. Hard once per turn on the second effect. Lyrilusc Celestine Wagtail, 200 attack, no defense. Upon being special summoned, you can add one Lyrilusc spell trap from deck to hand. So this is the Stratos of Lyrilusc spell traps. And then if this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Lyrilusc XZ monster you control plus one material. Each effect once per turn. Onwards to the extra deck. Lyrilusc. The XZ of Lyrilusc, I'll just get this out of the way. All are rank 1 Wind Beast XZ with no stat line, original stats. So starting off fresh with Promenade Thrush. And aside from the usual gains, depends on the attack for every material and so forth, basic. We're not going to dwell on that too much. For Promenade Thrush, soft once per turn, detach one, target one spell trap your opponent controls, shuffle it back into the deck. So it's Castell of back row. At the start of the damage step, if another monster you control battles, you can detach any number of materials off from the Thrush. That monster you control gains 300 attack for each material detached until the end of this turn. Ensemble Robin. If your opponent's special summon monsters more than one outside of the damage step, you can detach one, target one of those special summon monsters, kick it back to the hand, not once per turn by the way, smile. If this card is in your possession, is sent to your graveyard because of an opponent's card, extra deck included by the way, smile. You can target one other Lyrilusc monster in your graveyard, add it back to your hand. Lyrilusc Recitals Starling. In the early years of TCG, before we go any further by the way, she was being used and abused in the game due to Spiral being a thing, because having at least 2 level 1s or more to make this card, and because the fact that Recitals Starling happens to be generic in terms of summoning this card, you basically got ways of dealing with having level 1 monsters on the board without being too restrictive on Spiral cards such as Quick Fix and Gear Drones. Hence why Recitals Starling at 1, because searchable level 1 Wing Beast was not once per turn, and on top of that, if you were to use Quick Fix and Gear Drones as XZ materials, mainly Quick Fix more, it makes it so that it is a constant recycle and constant loops. So as a result, throughout the time period of emergency ban lists in general, that would be Spiral Quick Fix, Spiral Gear Drone, both at 1 in terms of emergency lists, just to take away the machine duplication targets, and Recitals Starling at 1 because, once again, not once per turn, searchable level 1 Wing Beasts is the reason doing so. And speaking of which, that is exactly what Recitals Starling really does. Detach one, add 1 level 1 Wing Beast monster from deck to hand, and then all battle damage you take from battles involving his XZ Shoken card is also inflicted to your opponent. And when it comes to rest of those Starlings boost, instead of 500, it's 300 stats per material. Lyrilusc, Assemble Nightingale. 200 attack for every material. She can direct attack based on the number of materials that Assembled has. That's how many times she gets to attack. And when it comes to defensive abilities, once per turn, as a quick effect, detach one. Until the end of this turn, Lyrilusc monsters you control cannot be killed by battle or card effects, and no battle damage. Lyrilusc, Independent Nightingale. 1000 attack, no defense, for which she requires Assemble Nightingale plus one Lyrilusc monster. In the early years of Yu-Gi-Oh! In terms of how to use this card properly, in terms of ways to deal with such shenanigans, cards such as the Tyrant Neptune as well as Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom were the two monsters in terms of copying the Independent Nightingale, to be specific, just to facilitate the FTKs. So what did Konami do to deserve that? The Tyrant Neptune banned, as well as Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom throughout the course of history of ban lists, just so that these two cards cannot copycat the abilities of Independent Nightingale, just so that Pendulum FTK shouldn't be a thing anymore. Now, when it comes to Independent Nightingale, upon Fusion Shoken using an XZ monster anywhere on the field as material whose original name includes Lyrilusc in it, being Assemble Nightingale, you can increase this card's level by the number of XZ materials that the monster had. So most cases, the more materials that Assemble Nightingale has, the higher the level that Independent Nightingale becomes. And if you guys are wondering, how is Pendulum FTK a thing in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! For one, because the Tyrant Neptune, if I recall correctly, happens to be a level 10, while Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom is a level 8. So most cases, the Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom before the ban list change is where 2 copies of Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom as a level 8, it makes it so that copy the Independent Nightingale, and for every level that it has, that's how much burn damage you get to deal your opponent times 500. So 2 copies, which are a total of level 16, or in most cases, level 8. Level 8 times the 500, that's 4,000 in one sitting. 2 copies, that's already FTK. Otherwise, it's like, if you have a combination between the Starving Venoms and the Tyrant Neptunes, this is the part where you get to deal even more massive damage, and once again, resulting FTKs. So they say adios to Starving Venom, the Supreme King, and the Tyrant Neptune, just to get it out of the way. And on top of that, this card gains attack equal to its levels times 500, unaffected by everything else. So basically, towers. And with that being said, that is literally every Lyrilusc card to go through. And let's get the show on the road. Special Turquoise, Set 1, Flip Up Featherstorm, Set 3, Gingerbread House, and pass. Gingerbread House, boost the Turquoise, Real Normal Celestine, Exceed Shoken into Rest of those Starling, no boost by the way. Versatile Starling for Barrel Canary. Barrel Canary, target Celestine. Special both. Celestine for the Glossed Out Bird Call. Also, Glossed Out Versatile Starling by the way. Exceed Shock it into another Versatile Starling. No actual effect once again. Detach for Sapphire. Special both. Sapphire and Barrel exceed into Promenade. +1 Promenade. Spin back the set. Celestine. +1 to Promenade. Draining Shield. Negate the attack. Gain 1700 life points. And 1 set. Set 1 and pass. Gingerbread House, boost. Promenade Thrush, spin back the Gingerbread House. Versatile Starling, getting Cobalt. Starling 2, getting Sapphire. Sapphire, special both. And we was going to make up a second Promenade Thrush just to clear out even more back row and then capitalize with just Promenade Thrush Turbo. So let's see what's up about what my opponent is playing. Okay, that is unorthodox. So this must be Gate Guardian in terms of odd levels along with some randomness. So you got Jerry Beansman, Cybertech Alligator. This card is not treated as a cyber card, by the way. Giga Gaga Gigo, Sky Dragoons of Draconia, Dragon Pit Magician, Golden Ladybug, Aroma Jar, Predaplant Saraceniant, Rigorous Reaver, Inaba White Rabbit, Gora Turtle, Mataza the Zapper, Marshmallow, Royal Knight, Sanga, Kazijin, Suijin, the 3 Gate Guardian pieces, 3 Labyrinth Heavy Tank, 1 Immortal Phoenix Gearfried, Libramenta Fire Burst. If you're wondering about why is this in the deck, it's because of the first appearance alongside with the origin story. That is your Libramancer targets. So origin story set the first appearance, and then first appearance get the fire burst, and then just straight up pop off if you have enough legal targets to ritual summon out fire burst. 1 fusion sage along with the 3 polymerization, Pot of Desires, Pot of Extravagance, Horn of the Unicorn, Mage Power, Trap Gatherer, one of the super recent ones by the way. The equipped monster gains 400 attack for each trap in your graveyard. Each of the following effects once per turn. After damage calc, if the equipped monster kills an opponent's monster by battle or inflict battle damage to your opponent, you can send this straight up set 1 trap from your graveyard. So it's a reset button. And then if a face up traps more than 1 you control will be killed by a card effect, you can banish this from your graveyard instead. So saving grace of face up trap cards. Fusion Recycling Plant, 3 Labyrinth Wall Shadow, Gingerbread House, Clockwork Knight, Ebon Sun. And then traps, 2 Kunai with Chain, Gift of the Mystical Elf, Rope of Life, 3 Draining Shield, Bad Reaction to Samochi, Dark Cure. I have never saw this card. When your opponent summons a monsters, more than 1, they gain life equal to half the attack of one of the summoned monsters of your choice. So, Ghost Sisters before Ghost Sisters was ever a card. And then Prey of the Jirai Gumo. Extra that consists of Predaplant Chimera Rafflesia. If you're wondering about how to get this card out, that will be your Predaplant Saracenians along with literally any dark monster. So most cases of darks, if we ever come across any, so that'll be your 3 heavy tanks. Okay, so it's just the Saracenians and a heavy tank, main deck wise, of getting it out. First of the dragons, 2 normal monsters. So most cases, it's the first 5. Trishula, the Dragon of Icy Imprisonment, Guardian Chimera, Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind, then there's Wind and Water, and then Water and Thunder, which of course you can essentially work with the Gate Guardian strategies to loop out the 3 pieces, and Contact Fuse depends on a maneuver. So that way you're able to have an established Gate Guardian fusion board. Acid Golem of Destruction, Adrius Keeper of Armageddon, Dvorak, Odd Eyes Absolute, Link Spider, Gaia Saber, Traffic Ghost, and BLS Link. And as for the deck profile, at the time recording that this Lyrilusc video is getting posted, this is the deck profile for it. So starting with the non-Lyrilusc cards, 2 Droll, 1 Ghost Mourner, 1 Wind, the Wind Channeler. I once used this back when I was maining Gusto, and the Wind Channeler is absolutely incredible, to be honest. So the way how the Wind Channeler works is that, first of all, treat it as a charming card, nothing more, nothing less. And then when a wind monster you control gets killed by battle while she is in your hand, she is freeze summon this card. And when it comes to its discard effect, the turn you use the discard effect of Wind Channeler, once resolved, you cannot activate monster effects except winds. Obviously, we don't care. The whole entire deck is wind, hence why no DD Crow in my main deck list for that matter. The case is, discard this and 1 other wind monster, add 1 wind monster with 1500 or less defense from deck to hand that's not the card itself. So basically, you get to search the whole entire plethora of Lyrilusc monsters and or Droll Bird if you really wanted to as well. And then as for the rest of the non-archetype cards, Raigeki, Harpy's Feather Duster, Lightning Storm, Triple Tactics Talent, Triple Tactics Thrust, 2 Forbidden Chalice, Call by the Grave, Blizzard, Swallow's Cowrie. When it comes to Swallow's Cowrie, hard once on the activation. Tribute 1 Wing Beast from your hand or face up field. Add 1 Wing Beast monster from deck to hand with the same level that the tributed monster had. So most cases, for context, if you don't have ways to keep your Beryl, Turquoise, and or Sapphires going, this is the part where Swallow's Cowrie is going to help you out for the fixture. And then the Power Traps, 2 Trap Trick for the sake of 3 Imperm and the 3 Dangerous Feather Storm of the Harpies. If any of these resolves, you basically get yourself another turn for the get-go. And then Lyrilusc cards, 3 Cobalt, 3 Sapphire, 3 Turquoise, 3 Beryl, 2 Celestine, 3 Bird Call, 1 Bird Sanctuary. Now, as of the extra deck, 2 Recitals Starlings, 2 Promenade Thrush, 1 Ensemble Robin, 1 Assemble Nightingale, and 3 Kiki Nagashi Fuchos. When it comes to Kiki Nagashi Fuchos, who is also an honorary Lyrilusc, as I call it. Rank 1, Wing Beast, no stats. Once per turn, as a quick effect, you can detach 2 at the same time. For the rest of this turn, this card cannot be killed by battle and no battle damage involving this card. Unaffected by everything else. Once again, another Towers card. And this has been James Polk with the Level Limit, aka Odd Number Challenge. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Smash the notification bell to keep yourself constantly updated. And be sure to use my campaign code in the description below so we can gather the leftover prizes for future content. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoyed the Level Limit Challenge.